Hello YouTube, this is Digital Redbeard. Wanted to talk today about everyday carry knives. Figured I would throw in my 2 cents. I know there are literally dozens and dozens of YouTube videos regarding everyday carry knives, and like a lot of knives, everyone has their own opinions, has their own tasks that they would be doing on a daily basis, which some could be quite different than others. For instance, law enforcement officers or people that would work on a farm. I work in an office, so I don't really use my knives very hard, but I do like to keep 2 knives on me. And the main reason for that is just to have one as a really do all, used to do most things, open boxes, things like that, and then one to keep as a kind of a backup survival knife, if you will, or just a backup very sharp blade with me if I need it. So the 2 knives that I have here are the Buck Vantage Pro and the Swiss Army Tinker. And in the first part of this video I'm going to go over these 2 knives, and then after that I'm going to go over some other knives which I have carried in the past and for one reason or another do not carry anymore, and I'll go over the reasons why. So we will start with the we'll call it the main knife which I carry, which is the Buck Vantage Pro. This knife is listed on Buck's website as no longer available. I don't know if they have stopped manufacturing it or what, but you can still get it on Amazon for around $60. So for the features that this knife offers, I think that is a great value. And those features are: one, the blade is S30V, which is a wonderful blade steel that will hold an edge a long time, and which is also corrosion resistant. So you can see right there on the blade, S30V, heat treated by BOS, which is a fairly famous, reputable knife heat treater and manufacturer. And as you can see, the blade is a hollow ground blade. It does have a bit of a curvature to it, like any other hollow ground blade. It starts up here at the top flat and then starts a hollow grind down on it. The edge takes just a wicked sharp, let's see if we can get it to focus here, edge. This is probably my sharpest knife, and I mean, it just will shave hair, pop them right off of your skin. So the handles are micarta, very durable. The whole knife is very wear resistant, and you could get it wet, wouldn't have to worry about it. It is a liner lock, and the lockup works great. I've never had it fail. One thing which a lot of people have noted on YouTube and the forums are that the blade, they had some problems with the centering of the blade. My particular knife did come offset, and it would just barely scrape the edge. But really all you have to do is get a Torx, a mini Torx screwdriver, and just tighten up that center pivot point right there, and that will that will straighten the blade right out. And just one word about the Torx drivers. This is a set from Craftsman, mini Torx set. The reason I went through several different Torx sets, and the problem that you run into with a lot of the cheap ones is that the tips just will, you know, break off, wear off, bend at just nothing. And a lot of the cheaper ones that you will get are not heat treated, and these are, they specifically say right here that they are hardened alloy steels, so they'll still bend. This one here, if you can see, that is, I need to take it back to Sears, which is another great thing about the Craftsman. They do have a lifetime warranty, so when you mess it up, which you will eventually, they will replace it. The opening, there's a little finger ramp here, which you can just flick the blade out, or it does have the thumb hole there, so deploy it either way. The pocket clip is a low ride pocket clip, which I really like. I mean, the only thing that you'll see when you've got this in your pocket is just this clip, really. So you can adjust it to put it on either side. Just take the two Torx screws out and you can flip it around to this side, so for left-handed or right-handed people. The design of the knife is just, it's a really great looking knife in my opinion. Some of the knives I don't like have that little, and this is just a personal aesthetic, have a hard angle right here where the back of the blade is. This particular knife does not, so I really like the lines and the look of this particular knife. So the blade length is 3 1/4 inches and the weight is 4 ounces, and I have found that that is just about my ideal large blade or main blade knife size, or knife weight and size, because you don't want something that's too heavy that you're going to be annoyed with having in your pocket all day, but then you don't want something, you know, too light for the job. So I've carried a few different knives, not as many as some people, but for the money, I think this is an outstanding value, and that's my current everyday carry for my large blade. The smaller blade which I carry, which there are plenty of reviews on this already, so I won't go into a lot of the details, but I will just say the reason why I carry this particular knife over other knives is that you get a lot of functionality with the screwdrivers, bottle cap openers, 2 different blades, a large blade and a small blade. The large blade is 2.5 inches and the smaller blade is 1.5 inches. They are flat ground and they will take a very, very nice edge. The steel is, you know, it's just their stainless steel, whatever they happen to be using at the time. They don't really ever go into much detail on that on their website or anything, but it's decent, and I have a tendency to sharpen my knives probably a lot more than most people, and so I keep my knives razor sharp. So blade steel really isn't that big of an issue for me, but for some people it probably is. So, and the toothpick and the tweezers are 2 of the big reasons why I like to carry this knife, because you never know when you'll get a splinter, get something stuck in your teeth, or, you know, need to use a toothpick. And so the blade that I probably use most on a day-to-day basis opening packages and boxes and things is the smaller blade here. I like it because when you're opening boxes and things, sometimes you don't want to cut too deeply into it, because you'll actually cut into the whatever it is that you happen to be opening. And this just seems like a pretty good sized knife for just opening packages, things like that. So that is the Victorinox Swiss Army Tinker, and the weight on that is 2.2 ounces, and that is my current kind of multitask do-all knife which I carry on a daily basis. So I will carry the Buck Vantage Pro and the Swiss Army Tinker. And I am now going to go into some different knife options which I have carried in the past and I no longer carry. So I will start out with a couple of different main knives. This knife I actually carried for many years. This is the Kershaw Blur, and it is one of the older versions. They have started, the newer versions have a rubbery insert. These inserts are rubbery. This is actually, I mean, it's almost like roofing shingles. I mean, it's some serious, you get some serious grip on these. So like I said, the newer ones are rubbery, and that really is one of the main reasons why I no longer carry this knife, is because as you're putting this in and out of your pocket, it will actually, like, just like sandpaper, it will just tear the lip of your pocket to shreds over a month or two. And so all of my pants, the pockets were just getting shredded on just by taking this knife in and out every day. And so that's one of the main reasons why I don't carry this knife anymore. The knife is assisted opening. It just opens razor fast. This is the S30V blade that they sell. They have it in several different ones. They have a Tonto blade, they have serrated blades, this is the upgraded S30V blade. They have, I think, rescue blades. They have quite a line of different blade options. Another thing about the knife is it is has a slight recurve right here, which I don't particularly like recurve blades. They're a little harder to sharpen. From the factory, it had a fairly wide angle, obtuse angle, so using the Lansky sharpening guide rod system, pulled the bevel back to its 17-degree setting, and now it is just wicked sharp. The blade length is about the same as the Buck Vantage Pro. The weight is also about the same. I do like the kind of angular thumb studs for flipping it out. That it works. They're on both sides and it works great. This is also a liner lock, and I have not had this knife fail. It does take a little bit of tension right there, because you're resetting the internal assisted opening device to close it. You can see some wear. I carried this knife for a couple of years, and it worked out nicely. But as I said, probably the main reason why I don't carry it anymore is just the fact that it just rips your pockets up. So, but if you're fine with that, or you don't use the pocket clip, if you just put it in your pocket, then that wouldn't be an issue. So that is the Kershaw Blur with the S30V blade. Another knife in the main or large blade is the Spyderco. Makes dozens and dozens of knives, and I'm sure they're all great knives. Some of them are a little bit more than I wanted to spend for an everyday carry knife. I know a lot of people will spend, $100, $200 on a pocket knife. I have a tendency to lose knives. I have lost several over the years, so I don't spend usually more than $50, $60, $70 on any given knife. This is at the lower end of that price scale. I think I got this one for around $45. They are fairly inexpensive knives. Has nice handles. I believe this is G10 plastic slabs or composite slabs. The handles are great. They're very wear resistant, very durable. You got a nice big thumb hole. I was playing around and put a kind of a polish on the blade just messing around. So that's the kind of satin finish that comes on the blade. This one has some fairly good jimping here for your thumb. The blade is, a little bit different style. A lot of their knives are kind of this, I think they call it a leaf point Spyderco style blade, which I haven't had any problems with. I do like the full flat ground blades, which are nice. This particular one, if you can see here, is part of their Made in China series, which is, I'm sure, why the cost is lower than a lot of their knives. And you can see right here the blade steel Spyderco 8CR13 MOV. Got the little Spidey logo there. And again, I haven't had any problems with the wear resistance or the wear durability on this. Like I said, I sharpen my knives fairly frequently, so I don't like to let them get dull. The main reasons that I stopped carrying this were, one, the pocket clip. I like the low ride pocket clip on the Buck Vantage Pro better. When you're carrying this, that whole top part of the knife is sticking out. And another reason is when you go to get it out of your pocket, this jimping area right here, it just scrapes your hand. So a little bit uncomfortable depending on how, not even really when you're going to get it out, but when you're going to get other things that are in your pocket, and it just kind of scrapes your hand. So that may not bother some people, but I just kind of found it annoying. But the overall aesthetics of the knife, other than this raised area, if it was just a little bit flatter and didn't have quite as aggressive jimping, I think it would be better. Has a lanyard hole. This is one of the very few knives which uses standard Allen keys, or Allen wrench, Allen bits, as opposed to the Torx bits. I do actually really like that because Allen keys Allen tools are a lot more common, and they typically seem to be higher quality than the Torx bits. So I don't know why manufacturers don't use this style of screw more often. I would prefer to see more of those. The pocket clip you can put in any of 4 positions for tip up or tip down carry, on the left or on the right. So that is the Spyderco Tenacious. And I actually carry this in have it in a kind of get home bag, which I carry, which has just, you know, a few items which you might need if your car breaks down and need to get home. So that one rides in there. So now we'll go on to the secondary knives, which I have carried in the past. This is another, I believe this is, yeah, Victorinox. I was trying to remember if this was the Victorinox or the Wenger. They both have similar models, but this one is one of their aluminum handled models, which it is actually, you know, a little bit thinner than the Tinker. It doesn't have as many tools, and it does not have the toothpick and the tweezers, which is the main reason why I don't carry this particular one anymore. But if I'm wanting a really, you know, low profile knife, when I'm wearing professional business attire, sometimes I will carry just this knife without the other knife, and that's primarily just because of its really low profile outline. When you're carrying it, you can just throw it in your pocket and pretty much just forget that it's there. So you do have, you know, your screwdrivers, bottle openers, can opener, small screwdriver, the awl, which works pretty good for sparking fire steels, and then your main blade. So there you go. These I've got a couple of single blade options, which are the main reasons why I don't carry those anymore. Is I would prefer, you know, to have a few blades for my EDC knife, my secondary EDC knife. This is an Opinel French-made knife. This is the number 8. This particular one has the carbon steel blade. This is a very, very lightweight knife. Where this one might come in handy would be backpacking, hiking. You know, could carry this as a backup knife, or even a primary knife on just a short day hike or something like that. I do, you know, they've made this knife for a really long time. Has a simple locking design. This is probably the very cheapest full convex grind knife that you can get, and that is, it's a very thin blade though, so it is a wicked, you know, slicer. It will slice, you know, just like crazy. The carbon steel you do have to keep oiled, which, you know, may be a reason for everyday carry why you wouldn't want to carry it. I haven't had any problem with it rusting, but if you get it wet and don't dry it off, I'm sure that it would definitely rust. So that is the number 8 Opinel knife made in France. And along those same lines of a small single blade knife, which you could carry either as your primary or a backup, is this is the Case Sodbuster Jr. and this particular one has the CV blade, which is the carbon steel. I think it's chromium vanadium, something like that, which is their carbon steel line. They only carry a very few models with this. This knife is another one that is a very thin knife, but will take a just razor edge. This particular one, I tried to force a patina on it. It does come with a mirror polish, and as you can see there, actually no, I didn't try to force a patina. I was cutting some apples and things like that, and it just patinaed, and then I tried to kind of get that back off of it. I don't know if you can see the kind of scratches on it. That was from using a Brillo pad type of thing to try to get it off, and that didn't work. So it is a very shallow hollow ground blade. Has the yellow handles. Like I said, they don't have very many options with this particular steel, and they do have quite a few different in the CV, but with just a single blade and the Sodbuster, I think it only comes in this yellow handle, which is, you know, good for not for keeping track of it, not losing it. So that is the Case Sodbuster Jr. And the main reason why I no longer carry either one of these is just the functionality, just having the single blade. I like having, you know, some more options. So, and in that particular line comes the multi-tools. This is one of Leatherman's full-size multi-tools. This is the Leatherman Wave. It has a number of blades. This one has the blades on the outside with the locks. Got a primary blade, got a file, diamond file, and just a regular file. All the outside blades lock. You've got a serrated blade, and you've got a saw. And I have used, still got a little bit of wood in there, the saw a few times, and I suppose when I got this I was thinking, yeah, well, I could use it, you know, if I was out camping or something, use this saw in a pinch. It's just such a small saw. The size of limbs or branches that you would be cutting with this, you could probably just, you know, snap in half. So, and it takes quite a bit of, you know, back and forth to get the branch off. So haven't found that all that useful. I have used it a few times. You've got the pliers, needle nose pliers with the wire cutters and the regular plier jaws. I've got a number of different flathead, and there's a flathead. It's a large one. Got a smaller one here which you can pull out. This is the flathead. You pull that out and it has a small Phillips head on the other side. I must have bent this particular one slightly. They do have a warranty so you can get new ones, but I must have bent this one slightly because it is just very hard to get in and out. You've got a set of scissors here. And all all of the blades lock. On the inside, they all lock using this thumb release lock right here, and on the outside they have liner locks, or a variation of liner locks. And on this side, got the same kind of bit. They do sell a number of different bits that you can put in this. This one is the straight and Phillips head. They have, you can get a whole kit that will fit into this little proprietary shaped bit holder. And then we've got a can opener. So that is the Leatherman Wave, and I do still carry this from time to time when I'm not going to be minding the weight, which is the primary reason why I don't carry this all the time. It weighs 8.5 ounces, so half a pound. It's not a lightweight option. It does come with its own sheath, which is how I carry it on my belt. That would take up quite a bit of pocket space. So I do carry it on my belt, but when I'm going to be, you know, out on the farm, or I know I'm going to possibly need, you know, to have some tools, some pliers, screwdrivers, different things, which I don't want to carry, you know, full toolkit around with me, I will carry this knife. So from time to time, I do still carry this knife, but the weight is the primary reason why I don't carry it on a daily basis. But 420 high carbon steel takes a pretty good edge. Has a flat section here, and then it is a very shallow, maybe a flat, it looks like it's a flat grind, and or a flat grind, or just the very shallowest hollow grind. You can see here the lock. And so this is one of the, I have a few different Leatherman, and the outside blades are one of the features which I really like. And on this one, after some use, it will, you know, if you're cutting, whittling, things like that, it will start to, these, you know, just sharp angles start to dig into your hand. But if you're wearing gloves, that's not an issue. Another knife which I carry sometimes, also a Leatherman, is the Juice S2. This is the gray handled version. They have an orange handled version as well. Got the smaller size needle nose pliers. Got again a number of flathead screwdrivers, 3 different sizes. This is the large, and these are, unless you've got some fingernails, they are a bit of a pain to get out. And I have, the smaller ones have a pretty sharp blade, and on a number of occasions when I've gone to get them out, I've jammed my thumb in there, and that kind of stings. So just be careful. I typically will put my other thumb here, so when I'm pulling the blade out, that it will just, I can tell, and then if my finger slips off there, it won't jam into the tip of the screwdriver. So three different size flat screwdrivers. Then you've got a standard number 2 Phillips screwdriver. These do not lock, but they do have a fairly strong back spring to hold them in place, so I haven't had an issue with any of the blades, you know, failing or closing on me. You've got a can opener, bottle opener, and one of the features which I really like about this one is it has a great set of scissors, big scissors. And you've got your outside primary blade here. And this is again 420 high carbon stainless steel. And again, the weight, which is right at 4.4 ounces, is just a little bit heavy for my secondary blade. The Tinker is just about right. I've actually been thinking about getting the deluxe model, which has the addition of these scissors, which I think would be pretty handy. So that would probably be my next EDC blade to try out. And as I said, this is a very personal, opinion-based thing with what particular EDC blades you want to carry. And you know, as you can see just from the different ones that I have here, while you are in search of that perfect combination or perfect EDC blade, you will probably end up with quite a few other ones on the way. So some people may just get one knife and be satisfied with it, and you know, that's great, but I don't know, I like knives and like to carry them. So those are a few different everyday carry options. Thank you for watching.